Hello students, myself Tarun and I am going to teach you social studies from Super English Schools. Today we are going to read chapter number 16. This is NCERT Board 10th Standard, chapter number 16, and the name of the chapter is Economic Liberalization and Globalizations. Let's start this chapter. First of all, the introduction part. India became independent in 1947. All of we know that after getting independence we need to administer our country. So government has accepted the path of planning to achieve this speedy economic development. How this government making different plans. These plans were made based on future 5 years. So different governments rule for the 5 year, like Bhajap, Congress, other governments were coming and they are making planning for the countries. In their plan, they are taking considerations of the monetary policy, fiscal policy, and the industrial policies. This is the policies for the economic development. For the industrial sectors, different rules and regulations which were made and implemented covered under industrial policies. The monetary and the fiscal policy deals with the finance sector, how to circulate the money into the market, and the fiscal policy deals with the banking rate of giving the loans, so the business were getting the money and they can make the good business. So in the 5 year plans all these things need to be considered, but government was not getting such a improvements or developments as expected. So the success was not attained in achieving the economic development in true sense. Different governments were coming, they're making the policies, but in true sense GDP and other things were not increases as per the expectations. And after knowing that we are failings in our policy making, causes of the failures were determined, were considered and rectified. All these things were rectified by implementing economical reforms. These were the changes in the administrations, in the policy making. What these changes were: liberalization, privatization, and globalizations. These were the main economic reforms which was implemented in 1991. Up to 1990, what was the government was doing was not giving any economic developments. So all these mistakes, all this failure was considered and new economic reforms were implemented. This economic reform was LPG. Shortly we speak LPG. L means liberalization, P means privatizations, and G means globalizations. Let's read liberalizations. First of all, the meaning of the liberalizations. Government gradually reduces and the restrictions which were imposed on the private sectors and encourage them for doing the business. This caused economic development. Under liberalizations, what were the earlier rules and regulation which was too tough, rigid? All these things were made easy, so anyone can develop and make their own business. This is the benefits of the liberalizations. This is really known as the liberalizations. Means rules and regulations were easy, means easy of policies which increase development of different business sectors. Earlier, so many industries which were reserved for the private public sectors, now it were open for the private sector as well. As only 18 industries were reserved, except that all the business were opened for the private sectors. Reservation of 18 industries. Other than that, compulsion to take the government permission was eliminated as the liberalizations has been implemented. Railway, atomic energy, and defense. These three sectors were completely under control of the government. In these three sectors, private sectors are not allowed to do interference. And other than that, any business can be done by the private sectors. This is how the liberalization is being implemented. means the rules and regulations now become so liberal due to these liberalizations. Compulsory registration for industries was cancelled, as in the traditional times there was compulsory registration requirement was there, but as the liberalization has been implemented, any business can be started without getting the compulsory registration from the government. Pollution and the hazardous for environment, those industries which are creating pollution and hazardous things, they are not getting permission by the government, means they need to follow the guidelines, they need to follow the proper rules and regulations, except that any industries can easily be start their business. So the provision to take the government policies permissions for getting setting up the industries which do not causes the pollution and are not hazardous for environment was cancelled. So anyone who are not polluting and their product are not hazardous for the environment, they can easily start their business with the liberal policy of the government. This what we mean liberalization. So there are some advantages. Due to liberalizations, we are getting benefits which are covered as the advantage of the liberalizations. Number one, opportunity to make unconstrained development for private sector. Due to liberalization, private sector is getting so many opportunities to make different kinds of product. So many different products were come into the market due to the liberal policies of the government. This has happened as a result of liberalization only. Private sector is getting the opportunities to make unconstrained development. They had increases their productions. This is one of the uh, advantage of the liberalizations. Second is global trade started. Due to liberalizations, anyone can sold their product at the international market. This has happened only due to liberalization. Because of accepting the policy of liberalization, global trade started and getting the impetuous means at the peak they get the great advantage of the liberalizations, many products getting so much chance at the international level. This is the second benefits. And the third is increase in the reserve of foreign exchange. How this foreign exchange increases, as we are knowing that due to liberalizations global trade is started, and due to global trade we are earning money. As we are selling the product, we are earning foreign currency. So the reserve of foreign exchange has increased due to liberalizations. And the point 4, internal infrastructure facility. How these facilities infrastructure facility increased due to liberalizations, many business sectors getting the chance of doing business at different area. And at the backward area also many industries were opened. That backward industries were developed, that backward area was developed as proper infrastructure facilities provided by the government. These infrastructure facilities are roadways, waterways, and electricities which are provided by the government. So the backward area are getting so much economical benefits due to this industrial settings. So these are all the four advantage of the liberalizations, but there are some disadvantage as well. Let's read what are the disadvantage. So first disadvantage, monopoly could not be checked. Due to liberalizations, many private sectors getting the opportunities of doing the business. So the person who was already in the business at the time of 1990 were the great business. They had already created the big products, and after getting the liberal policies they getting the huge chance of getting development. Small sectors have not even much money for starting a business, but this big business had money, and now they are getting the liberal rules and regulations, so they had started progressing a lot compared to the small sector. So in spite of decrease in restrictions, monopoly could not be checked. Means big business had improved and developed so much compared to small industries. Second benefit is India has remained backward in development in agricultural sector. Liberalization focus on uh, big industries, and agricultural field has been ignored. So as the focus has only paid on industrial sector, India has remained backward in development in agriculture field. The third point is disparity of income, means unequal distribution of income. Rich person become more rich and poor are more poor. This is known as disparity of income. This is the main disadvantage of liberalizations. Here the 90 to 95% of the income are going under the hand of the 5% people, and 5% people are working hard and they are getting so much less income. This 95%, the huge population of our country, 95% populations are getting just 5% of the income, and the 5% rich people are getting 95% of huge money. This is known as the disparity of income. Foreign debt has increased due to increase in the import and decrease in the export. As we import more and more from the foreign countries, we need to pay the money, and this payable amount become much higher, which creates the foreign debts. So the foreign debts has increased because of increase in import and decrease in export. So these are the four disadvantages of the liberalization. Now let's read about the privatizations. After getting knowing the complete information about the liberalizations, let's start the privatizations. What is this privatization? First of all, the meaning. In the privatization process in which ownership and management of industrial units under state control is handed over or transferred to the private sector is called as privatizations. Here government sectors are selling their business. Here government sectors are giving the management to the private sectors. Now they can given the ownership as well as management. The private sectors do the business according to their skills and management's way. The privatizations are done in the following way: like area which were reserved for the private sectors, public sectors, are open for the private sectors. Earlier so many things which were done only by the government, all this area which were reserved by the private sector, public sectors, now open for the private sectors. So this is the first way how the privatizations has been made. Second way, state keep the ownership. Here state keep the ownership and give the control, management control, to the private sectors, and give the charges of management to the private sectors. Only the ownership is under control of the government, and the management is given to the private sector. They are doing the management, they are making the profit, they are earning the profit, they are uplifting the industries, but the ownership is under control of the government. Or state keep the management in its own hand and gives the ownership to the private sectors. The second way, ownership has been given to the private sectors, so the government sectors are getting the benefits of the private sector, both ownership as well as management skills. And due to the privatizations, many industries has getting so much profit. So the privatization is creating good opportunities for the private sector. So there is many advantage. Let's start the advantages of the private sectors privatizations. So here are the three advantages of the privatizations. First of all, there has increase in productions of the industrial sectors. Due to privatizations, many private sectors comes into the market. They had produced many product. Now in market so many product are available. Second point, capital intensive and consumable commodities are now available in the market. Before 1990, there are so many less product were available. But after 1991, we all see capital intensive products like car, AC, which were purchased uh, not regularly. They are purchased for a long duration. So these are known as the capital intensive products. Uh, Earlier in the 1990 time, uh, in the market only 2 to 3 cars were available, like ambassadors, jeep. But now today's time, so many cars, so many electronic things which we are purchasing 4 to 5 years. We are not purchasing regularly, but these are the very precise things we are purchasing for the long durations. All these capital intensive commodities are available after 1990. consumable products. What is the consumable products? The products which the consumer are consuming, like the products which are available in the malls like DMart. All these things are the consumable products. So many products now available after privatizations. This is the advantage of privatizations. Working capacity of public sector has improved. Now, due to the privatization, so many self-employed person are doing the business. Their working capacity, their skill of working has increased. The working capacity which has been increased, they are giving the good product in the market. So this is this is also the advantage of the privatizations. All this advantage of privatization. Let's move towards the some limitations of the privatizations. So what are the limitation or disadvantages of the privatizations? So first, as the economic power has centralized, due to which monopoly has increased. Now the economic power to do the business is under control of the big industries. Big businessmen are getting huge benefits, more market, getting more and more business. They are making money and money. So they are being threatened towards other small scale business, as we had read in liberalization. Same point. This point has been covered here also. This is the disadvantages. Monopoly has increased due to this. Economic policy power is under the control of the rich peoples. The economic policies are accordingly made which were benefited to the rich people. This is the disadvantage in privatizations. Due to privatization, ownership was transferred and government has given ownership to those one who has money, and the money were with rich peoples. The rich peoples become more richer as they are getting different kinds of business, and they had created the monopolistic business. So the monopoly problem has increased due to privatizations. The second point is cottage industries has not developed properly. Cottage industries have not developed properly due to privatizations. These industries which requires lots of investments. Benefit is less, investment is more. So these industries not developed properly. In privatization, private sector focus on profit making industries, but in cottage industries, investment requires more. There is chances of being loss, and government is always ready to make these industries as they are ready to bear the losses as well, but in private sectors they are not ready to bear the loss. So the cottage industries were not developing due to the privatizations. Price have not remained under control, which leads to problem of price rise. As all we know, in developing country like India, there is a problem of inflations. How this inflation rises, more and more products, more and more demand, more and more demand, more and more price. So price constantly increases. This constant increase in price creates the inflations. Price rise problem never being solved due to the privatizations. So the privatizations, there is the disadvantages, and this disadvantages is being deals in the point number 3, price rise. So after reading the meaning, the advantage and disadvantage of privatizations, let's move on to the next topic, globalization. What is this globalization is? So first of all, read the meaning. Process of connecting one country economic with the world economy, as a result of which flow of goods and service, technology and labor is easily available in the world. Now there is a global trade. The market which were nationwide, which were state-wise. The product which was sold only in India, now it can be sold anywhere outside the India. So the market is now become international due to globalization. Here in our country, the businessman getting the business from the whole world. Here there is the process of connecting our country with the world. Here we are producing so many goods and we are selling these goods outside the country. Services which we are providing are being availed by different countries in any parts of the world. Many technology and labors can easily available in the world. We can pay them and they give their services in India, or our people go and give their services in their country. So there is exchange of technology, there is exchange of labor. This all are happens just because of globalizations. How this globalization has been happens? Many improvements were made due to globalizations. First of all, obstacles of trade. Due to globalizations, the obstacle of trades, there was so many difficulties to sold to purchase of goods at the time of 1990. All these obstacles were solved after globalizations. The second point, capital exchange can easily take place. How this capital exchange take place? For investment, if different countries wants to invest in India, they wants to invest their money in India, this can be happens only if India allow them, which has been happened after globalization. Such condition has been created so that capital exchange can easily take place between two nations. Now anyone are ready to do business with India, everyone are investing their money in India. This is happens due to the globalizations. Exchange of technology have been removed. Exchange of technology, how this exchange of technology have been obstacles, the obstacles of exchange of technology. Earlier at the time of 1990, so many innovative, so many invention which were made at that time were not being accepted in India. Reason behind that, at that time globalization was not there. India was not connected to other country. We are just producing in India, we are selling in India, we are not connected to other country. But now exchange of technology can be done after globalizations. Free exchange of labor. Now if anyone wants to serve their services to any country, they can serve easily, and this has happened due to the globalizations. Here many qualified persons are doing the job in some other country and giving their service, and we are also giving job to other country peoples. They are coming in India, they are providing their services, and we paid them. So there is a free exchange of labor. Anyone can go anywhere and do their job and give their services and earn money. This has happened due to the globalizations. After reading the meaning and the improvement which you are getting from the globalization, let's move on toward the advantages of the globalizations. So, uh, point one, foreign direct investment. What is foreign direct investment? Due to globalizations, many other countries invested in India. Why they had invested in India? They are getting the good business. India ranks second in populations. This is the good market of selling any product. This is the good market of making any market. Foreigners knows this, so they are invested in India. They want this market. This is how the globalization gives one of the benefits. Economic developments depends on globalization, and this is the advantage. Many countries people invested in India after globalizations. Good goods produced in the developed country can easily be obtained. After globalizations, we can selling so many products to the other countries, and also can import so many products in India. So at the earlier of 1990, many products which were not imported can easily be imported after globalizations. Developing countries like India can withstand in competition at the international market, international level. Now India is giving the big challenge at the international market. We are producing very good products. We are selling very good products at the international level. This is the advantage how India proved after the globalizations. This is the three advantage of the globalizations. Now let's start the disadvantage. What are the disadvantage? Problem of the poverty and the unemployment due to the globalizations. Globalizations has created so many job opportunities. Globalizations has giving so much business to other peoples, but in spite of all of these things, problem of poverty and unemployment not being resolved, not solved. Earlier also this were very big problem. Still this problem has not been solved. The poor people are not able to give education to their children. They are not getting money for their survivors. They are poor at that time, before 1990, and still also they are not getting the good advantage after globalization as well. So the poverty and the unemployment problem is still not solved after globalizations. The second point is developing countries have not acquired proper benefit of increase in export. Here India is a developing country, but in true sense they are getting the advantage of globalizations. No, we are just importing the products from other countries. We are not exporting. This creates the huge debts. So this is the disadvantage of the globalizations. Developing countries have not acquired the proper benefits of increase in product. Reason behind this, we are importing more and more, and we are not exporting. We are not giving the high kind of products to other countries. So at the last, the large scale industries have acquired more benefits. Globalizations, after globalizations, big industries like Tata, Birla, they acquired huge business. A small scale are not getting the huge business. So the globalizations become more favorable to richers and less favorable to the poor peoples. All these topics which we had covered up and to this, we going to review and revise. Then after we continue other topic like WTO of this chapter in the next sessions. Before that, let's short recall all of these things what we had read till now. So first of all, we had done the introduction part. In that we read how after independence so many planning which has been implemented, 5-year plans, but we are not getting achievements. So we had implemented economic reforms, mainly liberalization, privatization, and globalization. We read the meaning of the liberalizations. After liberalizations, what were the liberal rules and regulations which were made, due to which so many business getting improvements, getting good chance for opportunities to make the money. There are so many advantage which we had read. Then after the disadvantage of the liberalizations, uh, in liberalizations meaning, advantage and disadvantage, then we started the privatizations, meaning of privatizations, how the ownership and management of the government is given to the private sectors is still in the privatizations. Here we had read about the advantage, then after we had read the disadvantage, and at the last we had read the globalization topic, the meaning and the advantage and disadvantage. All of the students, please do reading of this chapter. The next sessions will start after that. Till then, goodbye.